In the story of Boku no Hero Academia or My Hero Academia, the one character whose development is changing the most is without a doubt Bakugo, and today I thought I'd be talking about how Bakugo has developed from childhood to the present and just where it will take him in the future, well, at least where it may take him in the future. One of the biggest, if not the biggest things that we need to look at is of course his relationship with Midoriya, because they are the two most important characters in the story and happen to have a very deep personal history with one another. As children, Bakugo and Midoriya were the best of friends. They used to always hang out and help each other out, which we even saw in the flashback during Bakugo's and Midoriya's fight with All Might, where Bakugo fell into the water and Midoriya offered to help him out. So at that time, which was before Bakugo's quirk had manifested most likely, they were each other's everything in a friendship kind of way, but as you also know, when Bakugo got his quirk and Midoriya did not, things started to become more tense between them. Bakugo started to look down on Midoriya more and more, which eventually transformed into a bully situation. This new relationship between them is something that, at least in the anime, we can still see to some degree being a thing, because up until they joined the UA Academy, Bakugo didn't think that Midoriya had a quirk at all, even though he did in secret inherit one for all from All Might. And that's when things took yet another turn, so to speak. That is of course because their falling out had to do with quirks more or less. If not for that, they would most likely have been the best of friends all the way up until the present date in the story. But what I find to be really fascinating is that now that Midoriya is catching up for all of the years that he was quirkless, you can slowly see how their relationship is healing, and recently in the manga we had this really powerful moment with Bakugo after their second round, where Bakugo actually gave Midoriya combat advice, something that would previously have been thought to be impossible because of how he was treating Midoriya in the past. And I think this is building up to something really big in the future. This is just the beginning, where Bakugo is finally acknowledging Midoriya's strength and that he is in fact no longer a loser without a quirk. In the future of the story, their relationship is piece by piece going to be restored to what it once was, where Midoriya and Bakugo are the best of friends. But when that time comes, they are not going to be two toddlers who wander the unknown for fun. They will actually be two really strong, really reliable heroes in training, if not pro heroes, depending on how fast the relationship will recover. Now that does tie into something that All Might was talking to Midoriya and Bakugo about once Midoriya's quirk became known to Bakugo, where All Might explained that in the future the two of them will become two really good heroes, one who strives to protect and one who aims for nothing but to win. So already we've seen an incredible amount of growth from Bakugo, and more will come, and I believe this is something that is going to have serious leverage in the future of the story. Right now they are rivals, but that rivalry will evolve into something new, and that is potentially going to completely warp the way we look at both Bakugo as an independent character but also as a team player, especially when fighting alongside Midoriya. Going back to what I said before, Bakugo is in fact the only other student aware of the truth behind Midoriya's quirk, and that will also be very significant in the future. Although probably not very heavily emphasized. I mean, I doubt the others will learn of his quirk anytime soon, if even at all, given how secretive it seems to have been over the years with all of its previous owners. So it is going to be one of those things that really only applies when it comes to Bakugo and Midoriya specifically. So if we look at the potential future of this story, and I mean a long time into the story, potentially nearing the end of it, we may get something really big between Bakugo, Midoriya and Shigaraki, because that's what he's been built up to at this point. He's the one assembling the League of Villains, he is calling the shots with All for One out of the way, so I believe that these three will be the most centered characters whenever we reach that point. All Might may play a role, assuming he's alive at that point. I mean, we know that Night Eye had his vision where he saw the death of All Might. If I had to guess though, I would say that this finale is going to take place long after the passing of All Might, simply because I feel like All Might's death shouldn't be at the end of the story. The passing of the torch has already been done, so the one thing that his death will provide is of course more of an emotional clusterfuck for both Bakugo and Midoriya, who have looked up to him since they were children, and seeing him go would just completely mess them up on the inside. But once those inner wounds have been healed, they will become stronger and far more capable than they have ever been, because they will have a far greater understanding that Shigaraki and the other villains need to be brought down once and for all before everything ends up in ruins. And I think this is when we are going to be seeing the true colors of Bakugo. We are going to witness something completely out of this world from this man. It is going to be a moment where the audience expects the man of heroics to be Midoriya, because he's the main protagonist of the whole series. But Bakugo is going to be doing something that will just blow anything Midoriya can deliver out of the sky, potentially even some kind of sacrifice. And I don't mean a sacrifice as in he will give his own life. I do not think that is going to happen, but sacrifices can be made in many different forms. He could end up taking irreversible damage while trying to protect Midoriya or someone else that cannot, whatever the situation may be, defend themselves. Like, imagine Midoriya is fighting Shigaraki or someone else under him and he runs out of power, because you can't keep using your quirk forever, you know, there's a limit. And when he reaches that limit, Bakugo just might come in to save him sometime while he can recover, be it through someone else's help or natural recovery. It could be either of those really. And another thing that could of course tie into this whole thing is that they will fight together, and I sort of touched on this earlier. All Might said that they would become the best together. One who wants to save people and one who wants to win. And since they're most likely going to once again be the best of friends in the future, they will be the perfect tag team against Shigaraki or someone else. You know, whoever they end up having to fight, who they fight is not exactly that relevant. The important thing is the impact that such a fight will have, because leaving everything to Midoriya, that is something that would just not be good for the story in general. I mean, sure, he's the main character and all, but every other character in the story are being so focused on right now that not having at least the main rival be part of this fight would be the biggest waste imaginable in all of My Hero Academia. Well, that is pretty much all I had to say about this. I realize I may have gone slightly off topic at some ends, but I feel like it was still well needed to explain my thoughts on how I think Bakugo is going to change in the future. I would love to hear what you guys think about this idea, and if you have different speculations, I would love to read them in the comments. So with that said, I'll be ending this video here. As I said, just go wild with your thoughts in the comments, and as always, if you did, be sure to Detroit smash that like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you want to see more My Hero Academia content coming your way. This has been your favorite host Perm, and I'll see you next time.